a book a week, which for me is a lot. And then I read one of my favorite books I've ever read, which was called Writers and Lovers by Lily King. And after I read that, I stopped reading. I think because it was so good. And once I finished it, I was like, okay, I need to like marinate, you know, I need to like let it soak in. And then I fell off the bandwagon. So getting more books feels kind of frivolous, I guess. But here we are. So let's get into it. This is a book haul, in case that was in any way unclear. Yeah. So the first book I found in a little free library, and this is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. This is a novel. It's in Reese's Book Club. Oh my god, whenever this painting pops out when I move my head, I think it's funny. Anyway, so I'm not really sure what this book is about. I grabbed it because I've seen it and that it's pretty popular recently. But the back says, "So I'm trapped." Marjorie frowned. "You're not trapped. Easy for you to say. You have a house. You know how to get by on your own. You don't have to play by their rules, Alice. You don't have to play by anyone's rules. Hell, if you wanted to, you could pack up today and head home to England." "I can't. I'm going to tell you one thing, Alice," said Marjorie. She took Alice's arm and gripped it uncharacteristically tightly. "There is always a way out of a situation. Might be ugly, might leave you feeling like the earth has gone and shifted under your feet. But you are never trapped, Alice. You hear me? There's always a way around." Let's drop the book. Cool. So it's set in Depression-era America, a breathtaking story of 5 extraordinary women and their remarkable journey through the mountains of Kentucky and beyond. So Jojo Moyes, her, also wrote Me Before You, which I never read, but I saw the movie on an airplane. I feel like it's a real good airplane movie, you know what I mean? Alright, that's where I'll put the books. Hope I don't make too much noise. Also, I realize I'm filming at like the loudest part of the day because there's like, I think, a kid's bike camp going on in the parking lot outside my window, and it's like commuting hour. So if this is too noisy, I apologize. I'm also doing my laundry, and so I tried to like close up the door and make sure that the laundry noise is not too loud, but it might still be loud. It's been a minute. Alright, this next book I got for my birthday. My birthday was a month ago. And my godmother gave me this book and another that's over by my bed, but it's the book I'm reading right now. So this book is called The Scent Keeper by Erica Bauermeister, and this is also in Reese's Book Club. So this, I'll just read the back because I don't know what it's about. Emmeline lives on a remote island with her father, who teaches her She gave me the 2 books that she gave me. The other one is called Mink River, and it's very good. She gave them to me because she and her husband have been reading books out loud to each other during the pandemic, and so she was like, these 2 are really good books to read aloud, and I was like, right on. I will be reading them to myself in my head. But I think still books that are good to be read out loud are really fun to read too, because usually that means the writing is like interesting in some way, you know. The next book I also found in a little free library because and this is like not a genre that I really read, but it is like a thriller kind of mystery novel called Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And I saw this on somebody's book haul, maybe Tranquil ASMR, potentially. Is that what her name is? Maybe. Anyway, so this is, yeah, it's kind of a thriller novel. So no one ever just disappears. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughters and his youngest, Poppy, take Floral's breath away. Because the eerily precocious Poppy is the spitting image of Ellie. And now, the unanswered questions she tried so hard to put to rest begin haunting Laurel anew. Where did Ellie go? Did she run away from home, as the police have long suspected, or did something more sinister happen? A haunting page-turner of, quote, sheer perfection, quote. Then She Was Gone is a gripping and emotionally resonant tale of one mother's quest to uncover the clues she failed to recognize, and finally discover the truth of what happened to her daughter. So, I think this will be like a fun, like, not a fun, but like a good vacation or like trip read. I don't know, like, just, I feel like maybe an easier read. That sounds weird because it's like a thriller, but you know, not a, well, I was gonna say not a heavy hitter, but I think I don't know, we'll see. I'm excited to read it in any case. Oh, the next book I also found in a little free library, and it's a little bit beat. This is A Man Called Uva. I had this on book on tape by Frederick Bachman. I thought for so long this book was called A Man Called Ove, but I listened to the audiobook, and it's Uva because Frederick Bachman is Swedish, and I guess Uva is a Swedish name. So, but then on the back, oh my god, this is so confusing. It says all you need is, and like right, wouldn't you say like ove or of? But then it's like Uva. All you need is Uva. So, this book is about this man named Uva who's quite curmudgeonly and really just seems kind of like a pain in the ass. But he's also like dealing with a lot of stuff, as like most people who are kind of pain in the asses are. And I haven't really gotten very far into it, but I found it in a little free library, and my audiobook had just been returned to the real library. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just grab it and read it. So, yeah, it's a really interesting, weird book, and I'm curious to see how it ends. The next book is my book of the month from April, May. This book is called Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. And first of all, I think the cover is gorgeous. The back says sister, lover, traitor, hero. So this book on Book of the Month I chose because it said it was similar to Circe, and Circe was the first book that I read once I graduated college, and the first book that I read after college for fun, and I had the impression realization kind of after I graduated that I didn't really love to read. It wasn't my favorite thing. At the time, my roommate at the time was a really big reader. Like, she was always reading, and so I just kind of felt like, oh, I guess I'm not into reading. And I read Circe, and I was like, oh shit, like, I am into reading. I do like to read. It's just like, I'm particular about what I like to read. I can't get into any book. I mean, this is like a conversation for another day, but like, I can't get deeply invested in any book, deeply invested enough to finish it. Like, if I don't like a book, I just don't usually finish it, because there are so many books to read in the world. This is how I rationalize it to myself, and I think that it's okay. Is that there's so many books to read, and if I spend all that time reading a book that I don't like, then I'm missing all the books that I will like, you know, the potential for that. That being said, I mean, I feel like there's a few books that it's worth kind of slogging through. But generally, in my like pleasure reading, I just, if it's not clicking, it's not clicking, and maybe it'll click another time. But you know what I mean. So anyway, stepping aside from my thesis on books, this book was suggested. If you like Circe, you might like this, and I was like, well, yeah, I liked Circe by Madeline Miller, I think. So this book is called Ariadne. So it says, Ariadne, princess of Crete, grows up greeting the dawn from her beautiful dancing floor and listening to her nursemaid's stories of gods and heroes. But beneath her golden palace echo the ever-present hoofbeats of her brother, the Minotaur, a monster who demands blood sacrifice. When Theseus, the prince of Athens, arrives to vanquish the beast, Ariadne sees in his green eyes not a threat but an escape. Defying the gods, betraying her family and country, and risking everything for love, Ariadne helps Theseus kill the Minotaur. But will Ariadne's decision ensure her happy ending? And what if Phaedra, the beloved younger sister she leaves behind? Hypnotic, propulsive, and utterly transporting, Jennifer Saint's Ariadne forges a new epic, one that puts the forgotten women of Greek mythology back at the heart of the story as they strive for a better world. So we'll see what this one is like. I'm excited to read it. Okay, this is not a book. Well, it is, but it's a notebook. Because I don't know about you, but like tangential to my love of books comes my love of like stationery and paper products. And they also make good tapping sounds, just like books. So I was on a road trip, and on my road trip, I stopped in Portland, Oregon. And in Portland, Oregon, there is the Moochie store. And I don't know if you know about Moochie. I was trying to describe it to a friend last night, was $6.90. Two of them, a black one and a gray one. But they're essentially the same. And when I was in Portland, I saw one of my very good friends, and we went to Powell's together. And I was like, I'm not gonna buy books, because, as I've said, I haven't been reading a lot recently. But I feel like you can't go to a bookstore like Powell's and not buy books. I mean, I can't go to a bookstore like Powell's and not buy books. I don't know. So anyway, if you don't know, Powell's is like a very famous big bookstore in Portland. It's like independently, owned by, like, it's not like it's not like a huge corporation. And so I got 2 books. The first one is a book I've been wanting to read for a while. I don't know if can't show this. I don't really know. It's just a circle. It's called Milkfed by Melissa Broder. And I think it's a novel, but I'm not sure. And it's got quotes on it by so many people who I really adore, like writers. So the quote on the front is by Carmen Maria Machado, who wrote In the Dream House. And then on the back it has quotes by Samantha Irby, who wrote Wow, No Thank You. And so this book is about, I think it's just, it's a novel about this young woman. I think it has to do with Judaism, and kind of, not like coming of age, but kind of like coming into yourself. And I'm really excited to read it. I feel like I've heard a lot about this book, and I've been wanting to get it for a while, and it was on sale, so we got it. Yeah. And then the last book, my friend who I was seeing got for me, which was so sweet, because she has been telling me about this book forever. And I haven't read it yet, and I've been wanting to, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So this book is called My Grandmother's Hands, Racialized Trauma and the Pathway to Mending Our Hearts and Bodies by Resma Menachem. And so it's a book about, here we go. The body is where our instincts reside and where we fight, flee, or freeze. My Grandmother's Hands is a call to action for Americans to recognize that racism is not only about the head, but also about the body. Menachem introduces an alternative view of what we can do to grow beyond our entrenched racialized divide, and takes readers through a step-by-step healing process based on the latest neuroscience and somatic healing methods. And there's quotes from Robin DiAngelo on the back that says, My Grandmother's Hands will change the direction of the movement for racial justice. So it actually came up because we were talking about just about trauma and its effects on the body, and she was like, of best-selling Passionate Marriage, and Bessel van der Kolk, MD, author of best-selling The Body Keeps a Score. He currently teaches workshops on cultural somatics for audiences of African Americans, European Americans, and police officers. He is also a therapist in private practice. So I'm very excited to read this book. And those are the books. That is all of them. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are maybe getting into the sun if you live in the northern hemisphere, or really somewhere where it's sunny.